our nonprofit. Okay, if you want to take any of those, feel free. And I have t-shirts for the end, so you want to make sure to put your name on that Padlet because that's how I choose who gets them. So if you do nothing else on the Padlet, at least say, hi, I'm Melissa from Hershey or whatever you are, okay? The Padlet is on the resource page. Yep, I have a link directly to it too, but the easy way to do it is just to go to the resource page and do the resources link, and it's at the clear top there. See, how many of you can I get in a picture here? Okay, I'll do this half first if you want to wave. I have quite a glare from what used to be the exhibit hall. All right, the other side of the room, say hello. All right, I think I got most people. I did one of the jobs I have to do. Take home. Yes, I'll do that quick now. Here's our resource page. I'm going to get started in just a minute though and show this again, but if you didn't get it yet, here it is. I'm here representing a nonprofit, and so the reason it's like this is because we have to describe our impact of who all we're reaching and who all we're teaching. And so you'll get taken to a form. It's very short, and it takes you right to the resources for all of our sessions this week. So there's this one, there's one on digital storytelling, and there's one on low-tech STEM. So you get 3 for 1 there. But all of them are there if you want to go ahead. It's bit.ly Pete Form 2020. All right, so I'll put that back up in just a moment. But let me go out of here and turn off the music because I don't want to hear that the whole time. Well, maybe I do, but... All right. So if you don't know, you're here for Nifty 50 Tips and Tools Play on Player. So each year I do a Nifty 50 at Pete and C and a couple other places around. And this year for Pete and C, I'm doing game-based learning. So that's what we're going to be talking about. It's 50 tips and tools. So it's pretty fast-paced session. The best part, everything I'm sharing today is free. So you don't need to wonder how much does that cost. A few of them are freemium sites, meaning they only part of it's free, like maybe you can create 10 accounts for free or whatever it may be. And if that's the case, I will let you know up front how to tell what's free and what's not free. And whoever was in here before me is a little taller than I was, so here we go. All right, so we've been around, well, first of all, I'm Melissa. I'm from Mechanicsburg. Oh yeah, sorry. And so Cumberland Valley School District, if that means anything to anyone in here. Don't know if anyone's heard of that or not. Okay, and I'm an ed tech coach and the educational content manager for a nonprofit. I used to teach at Cumberland Valley. And I'm the incoming president for the, can you hear me without that? Yeah, I'm pretty loud. I have that teacher voice. I'm the incoming president for the ISD Ed Tech Coaches, PLN, so I'll be starting that. Well, I'm kind of already, it's a 3-year term, so I'm already starting that. I have 3 kids, 2 fur babies, 1 reptile, a husband, and so I'm pretty busy. And I've been with Teachers First for quite a while too, and Teachers First has been around since 1998. We have 16,000 free resources, and we're also ad-free. If you didn't get the link to our resources, here it is. I'll put it up again at the end. I tried to show it at the beginning so we could kind of keep moving, and I have a lot to share, so I didn't want to take up too much time with the resources page, but it is very important because then you have everything for later. So anyway, you just need to fill this out, and then you'll get a link to everything from this session and the other 2 sessions that I did earlier this week. On that link, you're also, oh, and I should mention, we don't spam you, so whenever you send us your information, you're not going to get a weekly email or anything like that. This is it, just this one. All right, and if you have questions, we have a session Padlet, and I already had say hello, where are you? Now, your incentive to introduce yourselves anyway is this lovely free t-shirt. I have 5 of them up here, and so what we'll do at the end is we'll just pick a random number, like maybe number 10, and every 10 you post, we'll get a t-shirt. That's the only way I've found that can be fair, because I used to do whoever posts the most on the Padlet gets a free t-shirt, and I got some teachers very upset. I posted more than that person, and so, you know, they're counting and so I just do the numbers, keep it fair. So, anyway, if you have any questions, you can see there's just one presenter up here. So, if you put it in the chat on the way back, I'm riding the bus back to Carlisle area. I will get on here after the session and answer all your questions, so if I don't have time to answer them during the session because I can't see the Padlet, I will get to them. So if you have any questions, it's also a great way to collaborate because you will have this resource page forever, and this Padlet, okay, I'm not deleting it, so you'll have it for at least another year, if not 2. So you can go back and read other ways that other people have used these tools, okay? So, yes.
I wanted to have them right in front. I don't think I could edit the Padlet. Is anyone else?
Yeah, no.
It's not giving me the plus to add. It might be
Really?
If you only there's no plus.
Interesting.
Sorry to derail you.
Oh, that's okay. No, that's, is anyone able to do it? Oh, you are? Oh, well, some people are and some people aren't.
I'm sorry, the comment, yes, but I can't make it my own.
On the main page, click her name, and then it takes you like to a bigger one, and then I was able to add.
Oh, okay, so add it on. Okay. Well, let me see here.
Which, yeah, commenting worked, but then you can't, I don't think you can add it to the other columns.
There's no plus sign set in here.
Well, if the Wi-Fi would work, I thought it'd be pretty good today because not as many people are here.
Sign up or log in.
I'm thinking it may be a Wi-Fi issue because my Wi-Fi. Yeah, I'm thinking it's a Wi-Fi thing going on. If that's the case, and you can add a comment even, that's fine. That works too. But I will play around with that and see if I can get it, because it is set that you can add comments, because other people have. I think it must be a Wi-Fi, so hopefully that comes back. If not, I guess we'll just do it the old-fashioned way and have you raise your hand and see, and we'll count off and see who the 8th or 10th person is each time. But hopefully it comes back, because I have stuff to share. Let's see, is it on the presenter network? Yeah, it is. Mine's on the presenter network, and I'm still having a hard time. As you can see, technology to tech conference does not always work. Yes, I've been at international conferences before that go through the same thing. So usually Hershey's pretty good. Wait, I think it's coming up. Maybe? Okay. All right, so it looks like it's getting there slowly. So I'm going to keep going, and hopefully it comes up. But a tip for you, if you're presenting at these ed tech conferences, I always do an old-fashioned PowerPoint just in case technology's not working. You can always count on PowerPoint because you don't need Wi-Fi for PowerPoint. So I do the fun, engaging stuff too, but then I have PowerPoint as the backup. So, okay. So all of our sites are actually linked to the actual, on the resource page, are linked to the actual tool, but they're also linked to the Teacher's First resource. And the reason I linked them to the Teacher's First review is because we have this in the classroom section, and it gives you 3 to 5 additional ways to use that tool. So you can choose which one you want to open, if you want to open the, just the site or the review, but just so you know, that's why it's there. We also list warnings and tips down at the bottom. You can see it has an educator area only, you need parent permission, it requires email, things like that. So things that you may want to know as an educator, we've already done the work for you. A lot of the tools that I'm sharing today, Nifty 50 started out as DATS, if you've been coming for a few years, device agnostic tools that will work on any device. And it started out as a session of a resource for teachers who are in a BYOD, BYOT, whatever you call it, classroom, and are looking for tools that are available on any phone, any Chromebook, any iPad, whatever, on any device. And so most of what I'm sharing today are still DATs, but there are some that aren't. And so as I go, because the session isn't just about DATs, I will share with you if it is device agnostic or not. If you want to know if something's device agnostic and you're not sure how to find out, usually there's the icons at the top. Sometimes they have pictures of various different things, but be careful because it says if it's web-based, that means you can go on your phone and into your Safari browser or whatever it may be and look at it that way. So it's really not device agnostic because it's not an app. If all else fails, you can go into your store and check it out there, or go to the About Us area. Usually tells you if there's an app available and all that too. So my first big disclaimer, I can promise you that something I share today is going to change before probably a month from now, maybe the end of the year. For example, Flipgrid. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Flipgrid. I'm not sharing that today, but as an example, that changed for the better. Maybe 2 years ago, Microsoft bought out Flipgrid. If you aren't aware of that, they own it now. And so we have unlimited educators, unlimited accounts, and unlimited Flipgrids, all that. And it used to be limited, I think, to 5. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you could only create 5 grids for free before that. And so that got better. But then I was presenting at another conference down in Florida, maybe 3 years ago. And you guys remember KidBlog? It's still around, but it's not free. And so the night before my presentation, I went on to double check everything, and all of a sudden it said, as of January 18th, 2017, or whatever it was, KidBlog will no longer offer the free accounts. I'm like, oh no. And so I shared that as a learning opportunity. And today, again, there's one that changed since I originally created this presentation for this session. I always do them, a month or two ahead. And in December, whenever I was working on it, something's changed since then, but using it as a teachable moment. So just be aware, free tools especially change. Sometimes they get better, sometimes they get worse, sometimes they just go away. So always test the site before you share it. A few of our sites, not very many, but just 2 or 3 do have some FERPLET implications. And so make sure you know your acceptable use policy and follow it, and make sure you know if you need emails or not. So the big question before we get started on the tools is, why are we using games? Why do they matter? So games are a great assessment. They're a great way for formative and summative assessment. You can do individual or group games to see where your students are at, kind of get a temperature gauge there, and you get instant feedback for you and the student on most of these games. They increase a child's memory capacity, and they often revolve around memorization. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. And this can transfer with students and help them with test taking and other strategies that they need to use memorizing for. And so they need to remember the aspects of the game, but it also helps them with critical sequencing and things like that. Narrative elements, tracking the narratives, all that. Computer fluency, this is something that's very important because we do live in a world that's dominated by technology. We all know this. We're at an ed tech conference, so this is not a newsflash to you guys in this room. But playing games on the internet allows students the license to get used to how a computer works. Simple things that we don't even think about, you know, how to use the mouse, how to use the touch screen, how to use all these things, the keyboard. Little things, especially with younger students, you know, not to mention browsing, username, internet privacy, like there's so much to teach them that are real world implications, and computer fluency is something that's very important. It helps with fast strategic thinking and problem solving. Most games require students to think quickly. The one game that we're doing today, you guys are playing games today, the one game that you're doing is not based on quick thinking, it's more accuracy. So it depends on the game, but a lot of them do require you to sort of think 3 steps ahead. And this helps with the students' accuracy later in life as they're doing logic and solving problems outside of the box. So games are fun and engaging. Technology is everywhere. It isn't going anywhere, and most likely at the jobs of the future, they're going to use some form of technology. It may not be a game, but some form of technology. So it's good to get them to familiar with the tools, practicing, learning, and assessing. They develop the hand-eye coordination. I have a student I have a son, I shouldn't say student, he's my son, with dysgraphia at home. And this one really hit home with me when I was doing the research. I had never really thought about it, but how, using the mouse and using the touchpad and all of that really helps with hand-eye coordination, because what's going on the screen isn't what your hand, you're not looking at your hand, and so it really is helping you put the two together. And this again is more so for the younger students, but they are looking at the screen while their hands are controlling what is happening. This one probably isn't a shocker, but games are great for your students who may have some attention problems. Just keep them engaged and focused. So when you're looking at Liz Kolb's triple E type thing, especially engagement, I mean, this one hits engagement, enhancement, all 3 levels there with a lot of these games. Skill building. You may think of things like these boys are doing some map skills. So some of the games help with things like that. This obviously helps with practical thinking, but there's also games like football management skills to help with finances and general project management. So there's all sorts of skill building going on. Failure. Failure is okay. Games are a nice, safe place for us to fail. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm still failing as an adult. Certain things, there's been tasks lately that I just haven't quite made it up to where I wanted to be. And it's good for us to acknowledge that, failing isn't the end. It's part of the process. And it's not the outcome. It's just an indication that we need a little more work in that area. And so it's good for students to learn this in a safe environment with games, to try again. If you miss that mark the first time, as this poor person who's probably worse than they are at archery, but missed that mark. And finally, students are more drawn in with games and with traditional learning. They're more engaged. It applies the principles and structures of games to learning. It draws the students in ways traditional teaching usually does not. So we're going to be doing different categories. If you were looking at our resource page, you saw them across the top. The first one is ready to go, and we're going to be playing a few of these games as we're going. We obviously don't have time to play, 50, so that's not going to happen. But there's going to be a few. So the first one, as the saying goes, keep new friends, or make new friends, but keep the old. Some are silver, some are gold. Same is true with tech tools. You're gonna notice some of the things that I'm sharing, you're gonna be like, hey, I never heard of that one. And other ones, you're gonna be like, I've been using that for 10 years. So just depends, but I'm just trying to give you a broad perspective here. So each one is a bit different, and the first one is Starfall, which most of you have probably heard of. It's great for elementary school, especially pre-K to grades 3. They've expanded now to include language arts, math, music, and more. Free games are clickable, so whenever you go, you can see here in the kindergarten, there's nothing grayed out. If it's grayed out, that means that it's not free. So whenever you get there, on my assessment, more than 90% of them were completely open. This one happens to have all of them open. But some examples of some of the other free games include what are nouns, parts of speech race games, holiday time telling, division dinosaur, and many other things to practice learning to read, math, seasonal fun, and more. So each one I'm giving tips and more also as part of the 50 things. And for this one, I wanted you to think about how you could use this. So some of the things you could do is the interactive whiteboard for the class, using it with partners, individual devices, learning stations, and more. It really depends on your class situation and how many devices you have available. This is a great site to get even your youngest students engaged, since they do offer pre-K activities also. And so even if you have some students who are a little bit behind, this gives them some extra practice. One management tip that I would share with you for this tool and some other ones is that last one, don't forget the earbuds, especially for your non-readers. A lot of it's audio instruction, and so you don't have the earbuds. You're going to hear lots of instructions going on in that classroom, and your poor little attention problem students are really going to have attention problems whenever they have all the different noises going on. So either, if they aren't provided by school, have the students bring in some cheap earbuds. All right, math games. Has anyone ever used math games in here? Just what? Yeah, usually there's not that many people who've heard of math games too. Okay, this one is really a powerful tool. If you teach math to kindergarten through 8th grade, you want to check this out. There are some basic ads at this site, but it just keeps it free, and they're not obtrusive at all. I was just amazed whenever I kind of delved deeper into this resource in the last year, because it's not a newer resource. It's been around for a while. But the grade level options give you a list of which tools are available. You can see they have 1st through 8th grade on here and how many skills each one has. There's worksheets, and there's also mobile skills. And the nice thing about that, going back to the device agnostic class, whenever you have a web version against an app version, you sometimes have different, it may look different. So you may be practicing dividing decimals, but when you're on the web browser versus the app, it isn't the exact same game or interactive, okay? So this gives you a good indicator of what skills there are. For example, grade 4 has 126 skills as interactives plus 104 worksheets, and 114 of those interactives are also available as mobile device app versions. All the activities are aligned to Common Core, which is great if you're a Common Core state. So this makes lesson planning easier. No registration is necessary at all to play. However, if you do get registered as a teacher, you get free detailed progress reports, the leadership boards each week, and more. And each grade level also offers points. You can see at the bottom here, depending on your grade level. I have an 8th grader, and I don't think he'd really care if you earned a star, but some of them do. So as you proceed, you know, you earn the stars at the end here once you complete different things. And so one tip I wanted to mention, again, just remember the app may be a little different than the web browser. And be very sensitive. I have down warning grade level. You want to be very sensitive of that, because these are all graded. So, you know, there's grade 4, there's grade 6, there's grade 8, whatever it may be. You may be in a school, because this wasn't created in Pennsylvania, you may be in a school in Texas or in California or in Pennsylvania, and your grade 4 curriculum may not look like California's grade 4 curriculum, or Texas, whatever it may be. And because of that, your students, especially those who are behind, may be working on some skills that are in grade 2 or grade 3, and then they're going to feel like failure, you know, right there. Oh my gosh, why am I in grade 2? So have a conversation before you use this tool, before you introduce it, that yeah, this may say grade 4. However, be aware, every state has different guidelines, and so what's grade 4 for us may not be grade 4 everywhere. So if you're working at something grade 3 or grade 5, it doesn't mean that you're extremely brighter than the rest of us or you're behind everyone else. It's just our school's curriculum. So if you have that conversation ahead of time, it's helpful, because then if there are students who are struggling and maybe are working at grade 3 or grade 2 and the rest of the class isn't, maybe it doesn't make them feel as, you know, drawn out and different than the other students if they're struggling. So just be aware of that grade level. Duolingo is next, and this is one of my favorites to use personally and to share with students. It is a fabulous world language program. You start by choosing why you're learning that language. And there are nearly 30 languages to choose from if you haven't checked this one out. Spanish, Russian, Hebrew, Vietnamese, Greek, they're all up there. There's a lot of them. You do not need to register to test out the site, but you do need to register if you want to save your progress. You get to determine how many minutes per day you will study, and they even send you out a reminder each day. The students do need some basic reading skills to understand the instructions, and some typing skills at this site. So depending on your kindergartner, they would need some simple things. For example, this one has choose your path. They need to know if they click new, and so you could always lead them through that process. But because there's not much reading involved, most of it's audio and listening, but theirs is a little bit. And going back to the last slide, you do get to pick how long you want to work per day. I'm a casual learner right here. And they do send me emails on my Gmail every day. Hey, don't forget to practice your German with, you know, the pumped up arm, and you got this. And I'm a failure. I haven't done it for a month or so, but I'm getting back to it because conference season is ending. This is my 3rd one. I've been going every 2 weeks to a different one. But I will get back to learning a little bit of German. I'm a Spanish person, so that's how that came up. But anyway, depending on the individual child, this could be useful for all different ages. And you could also use it with ESL, ELL students, with gifted students for some acceleration and challenge to learn a new language. So that brings us up to ABC. It's been around for a while. It's made some changes though. So it's for grades K to 6, and honestly, whether you're looking for pronouns, telling times, word clouds, animation, it's got a wide variety of things going on. The one that I used to love where you could create the talking, what was it called? It's gone right now, but it's coming back. I loved that one. I'll remember the name by the end here. One thing to note, that all the games are not free on the app, so just be aware of that. Everything is free on the web browser. On the app, you need to check it out. A decent number are free, but I just wanted to be upfront with you and tell you, web free, apps not always free. It's a great site to use for additional targeted practice on specific skills, and they have many games to reinforce and practice arithmetic, grammar, typing, writing, and so on. And here's some samples, and you're going to notice some things like the amazing alphabet. The first one there is 2 and grade 6 and up, because they have different standards in those grade levels that activity meets, and so that's why more than one grade level is listed there. I've already talked about most of this, but just an idea, share this link on your website. This is a great one for students. They really enjoy a lot of these for during the summer or whatever it may be. Outwiz is a real treasure. You can replace your old worksheets and get gaming with this tool for grades K to 8. I don't know a ton of teachers who use this one. This is one of the newer ones. It's not super new, but it's still kind of getting its feet wet, so to speak. They're basic math and English topics, and as you can see, it's available. This is device agnostic. There's that picture I told you about. It's available on all different devices there. You earn points, badges, and more, and you can share this for students to use for at-home practice. And it's also excellent for differentiation. Students can work at their own levels, and it has the options of personalized learning, rigorous curriculum, and report cards. This, of course, is if you join. You can play for a little bit around, without having an account, but the account gives you the report. The account's free, and that's nice for your assessment purposes. I really like that it also offers badges already ready to go for you. And there is a video on our resources page to learn more about this tool. We don't have time to share everything on video here, but there is a video to learn more on there. So as students finish and earn a badge, you could have them take a screenshot. That's one option if you didn't want to do the registration option, and they can share the screenshot with you on the LMS or whatever option you have to share those, the clips, and you can share it for credit or even for bonus points, but you can register your whole class for free, and then you do get the report cards and personalized learning. Now, I love this one. This site offers a series of interactive episodes for students to use in elementary to use primary source documents and learn about civic matters. So it's kind of like gamifying civics, which is cool. You can also customize your existing episodes of the game-based activities. Kind of reminded me of iCivics a little bit, but with a little more gamification going on. So it's pretty cool. I did include Kid Citizen today, but I did want to let you know that from what I saw, it says it's device agnostic, but I only saw it on my web browser. When I went into my phone, it was not there. My iPad is dead right now, and so I couldn't check on my iPad, but I did not see it in the other stores except for on a web browser. So it says it's available, so if you have an Android device, maybe it's on there, but iOS, I did not see it. So as it says on the last thing here, test out the app because you just don't know what's going to happen. And that leads us to Bonsai, which I'm going to show you a short video about Bonsai. Anyone ever use Bonsai in here? Oh, cool. Okay, good. Bonsai teaches real-world financial literacy, and it's for a wide variety of ages. And the really cool part, which is the video is going to show you a little bit more about it. The really cool part is it's free, completely free, because our local institutions fund it. And so the credit unions and the banks fund this completely. It grades your classes, and here it says you can access it anywhere, but that's anywhere that has a web browser. It's web-based. See, it says Bonsai is web-based, so it says you can access it anywhere, but of course you can if you have web on your phone. So it's not an app version. It is aligned to state standards, and this just shows you some of what it has. There's Bonsai Junior for ages 8 to 12. There's Bonsai Teen, and there's Bonsai Plus. This is a great tool to share on your class website or on your LMS. And I'm going to see if this will play. Hoping it will.
loan
You hear
shark, intimidator. I reject those terms. I prefer entrepreneur. Or Michael. You see, I'm using my newfound financial literacy to turn a profit. Thanks to Bonsai, a free online program my school uses to teach us kids about interest rates, establishing credit, budgeting, saving for the future, and more. And I use that knowledge to my benefit. It's a simple gig, really. Kids want snacks. Snacks cost money. No money, they come to me. I charge a tidy 90% interest rate, compounding weekly.
Hey, Mike. Can I borrow $1.50?
You know, Danny, your tab's getting a little high. I'm worried about your debt-to-income ratio. I choose to deny your request. It's for your own good. Bonsai is smart for me and my clients. It uses scenarios that make you pick and choose based on trial and error. To learn that there are real consequences for all your financial decisions. It uses simulations to put finances into terms anyone can understand.
Hey, give me your lunch money.
Clyde,
I mean, like, if you want to.
Because by next week, you'll have accumulated $8.77 in interest, which leaves us for your necessities, like going out on the weekends.
Yeah, thanks, Bones.
Bonsai lets us make mistakes while the stakes are low. It's experience-based learning, because you learn by doing, not by filling out worksheets and tests or watching videos.
My favorite part.
My teachers love Bonsai because it's free, sponsored by local banks and credit unions, and because they finally have an answer to the age-old question. Will I ever use this in real life? We're already using it in real life, and it's increased my yearly earnings from 2 to 3 figures, literally dozens of dollars in interest alone each month. And I'm just a sophomore. Our local sponsor loves Bonsai because it means more financially prepared people in the community. So everyone's happy. Students, parents, and teachers.
That's right.
Hi, Vice Principal Wendell.
Hey, Michael. Our great bonsai students have informed the administration about your business, and I'm supposed to relay that you're engaging in predatory lending practices, which should be suspended immediately, or else you will be.
I thought that was coming.
Also, you two, you're supposed to be in class right now. Bonsai. Get your class signed up in minutes, for free.
Okay, so that's a little intro to Bonsai. Kind of funny, but it is free, and it's not a brand new tool. It's been vetted, and it's been around for a while. So if you're teaching financial literacy skills from ages 8 and up, which I think is such an important skill for students to learn, it's a great tool to implement in your classroom. And you don't need to implement, you know, all year round, every day, an hour a day, anything like that. You can do as much or as little of it as you want. All right, so that is all of our ready to go tools, and we're going to move on now to design your own. All right, and I'm going to go back to my presentation in a moment, but for sake of time, I have Quizlet up here, and we're going to be comparing 2 different design your own games, Quizlet and Gimlet, or Gimkit, making rhymes. Okay, so Quizlet has a feature. Quizlet's been great. I love Quizlet with my own kids and with my students to practice flashcards on the go, to practice learning. The learning just kind of repeats what's on the flashcards over and over again until they get it. Repetitive scaffolding learning there. There's the writing, which I don't particularly like because my kids don't spell the best. So unless it's a spelling test, I don't do that option. And then the spelling and the test options. And so this is great, but down below there's some games, Match, Gravity, and dun dun dun, Quizlet Live. Now, what's changed recently with Quizlet Live? Some of you have probably played Quizlet Live, I'm assuming. A couple, okay. But if you haven't, get ready because you're getting up and moving around, getting the blood flowing on this last morning. If you want to, I'm not going to force anyone, obviously. But one thing that has changed in the free version of Quizlet Live, if you didn't know, you used to only be able to choose the term first. And just in the last, month, well, I was at FETC in January, so maybe almost 2 months. You can do either one. So you can now start with the term or the definition. So that's pretty cool. They added that as a free feature. But I'm going to select to start with the term and hope that it works here. There we go. So what you want to do is join Quizlet Live at 412053. So you can, woo! Sorry about that. That was really loud. So you can join at Quizlet Live or on the app if you have the Quizlet Live app, either one, 412053. Once you have 4 students, you can start the game. So go ahead in there if you want to play. Hopefully I can get some of you ready and moving on this final day. Yay, Deanna and Paul, Kylie and Jeremy, Melissa. Hey, I'm Melissa. Hello, whoever Melissa is. Well, I'm Melissa too. Another Melissa. All right, so we will give you about 1 minute to log in, because then comes the fun part. What I love about Quizlet Live is it's a collaborative game-based learning tool. This is the most collaborative tool. There's another one I'm going to show you that you can use to collaborate, but this one, really, you have to collaborate, because every student who's playing has different answers on their screen, and only one of you have the correct answer. So if you don't sit next to the person that you are playing with, you're not going to get the answer, okay? So your team can't win. All right, so, and it's more important to be accurate, because if you get the wrong answer, guess what? You go back. So you want to take your time, don't rush through it, and let's see, is anyone else joining? I think, okay, wait, they're still, okay. I'm going to give it 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Is anyone else still logging in?
Does it say Sarah up there?
I got 58 people. I'm not sure. Let's see. Sarah said, yep, there is a Sarah. Okay, so I'm going to hit now. Oh, 59. You just made it. Just made it. I'm going to from here, and you saw how easy that was? All I did was hit the live game, and they make this for you. So if you have the flashcards made, that's all you have to have. Create game with 59 students, and now all of a sudden you're going to become an animal. You may be a penguin, an ostrich, an alligator, pumas, hedgehog, reindeer, dolphin, unicorn, koalas. Now to make this easier, if you are a penguin, an ostrich, or alligator, come towards the front of the room. If you're a puma, a hedgehog, or reindeer, go to the back of the room. If you're anything else, stay kind of in the middle. So hopefully that'll help you find your group a little bit quicker. And remember, management tip: give your group time, or give your class time to find groups in your lesson plan.
Alligators?
Well, my whole row is perfect.
Alligator? Alligator? Alligator?
Once you have your groups, if you just want to wave to me. Okay, we got 1 group. Woohoo! 11 to go. 2 groups already. 3 groups already. 4 groups. Remember, penguins, ostriches, and alligators are up front. Pumas, hedgehogs, and reindeer are in the back. And the other 9 are in the middle. And thank you for playing on this final day. Getting the blood up. It's the only time you have to move from your seat, I promise. Does every group have your group? Anyone still finding anybody? Okay, dolphins, where are you? Dolphins? Okay, unicorns, koalas, alpacas, wolves, cheetahs, stingrays, lynx, chameleons. Okay, so everyone's ready to go. Oh, which one are you missing?
Penguins are missing Kathy.
Penguins are missing Kathy. Are we trying not to? They can't play without you because you got your answers on your screen. Oh, you're in there twice?
Reindeer's missing.
Okay, if you are Kathy, you need to come on up because they need your answers. And there's no way anyone can sign in unless you're in the room. And who else are we missing? Jeremy, reindeer, and Willie. You're in twice. How'd you get in twice? Oh, no. Oh. Well, you know what? Why don't you guys come on up so you're near Jeremy? Because I don't know which one you're going to show up in. This is going to be interesting. He's an ostriches. Well, I can't redo it because if I do, all 60 of you will get reshuffled. So you guys want to come on up so you're near him. And if your answer's not on your screen, just assume it's on his. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start the game. And if Kathy wants to come up, they're up here waiting with sad faces. So you're missing. Is there a Willie that's not in a group? This is a good chance to use the management tip to remind your students to only log in once. There you go. Okay, so let's hit start game. The following player is disconnected. Jeremy, I'm going to remove you.
No.
Oh no? Are you not? Are you connected now?
No, I'm connected, but Jeremy's in our group. I don't know.
Oh, I meant the other Jeremy. It's gonna connect the other one, so that should be okay.
Okay.
Okay. He's here. He's logged in, so I don't understand. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start game. Now, you have the game on your screen. You can see what the teacher's view looks like. Okay. Did they change the groups? Because they... Oh! Okay, hold on. Because we removed someone... Everybody get ready. There's going to be a new code. 536147 because we removed someone. Next time, just hit go. 536147 is the code. Yes, it's going to remove it because of the people that weren't here, so sorry about that. We will go ahead and get started. It's going to put us back a minute or two, but that's okay. I left time in. Tech troubles. Gotta love tech. 536147. We have 23 people, 24, 25. And this is a good time for those of you who didn't hear me. Leave 5 minutes in your lesson plan for students to find their group. Now, your classes don't have 60 people playing, but leave the extra time because there will be issues finding groups. It happens every time. So, with Wi-Fi or something. The number is, 536147. 536147. And we have 44 people so far. 536147. And I'm going to give it 10 more seconds because we're missing 6 people we had last time, which some of you may have given up because it's the last day and you're like, forget this, I'm going to sit down. Which that's fine, if that's what you're doing. But 536147. 10 more seconds. Okay, one more game. 5 more seconds. I'm gonna hit it. Are you in? Everybody in that wants to be in? Okay. Create game. Here we go. Now, if you are a camel, koala, or a sea dragon, come to the front of the room. If you're a snake, an oxen, or a dolphin, go to the back of the room. Camel, koala, sea dragon, front of the room. Snakes, oxen, dolphin, back of the room. Everyone else in the middle. And we will get started. Look at your screen to see what you are. There's probably more than one. You could have more than one person with your name, so look at your screen. Not this screen, look at yours.
Yeah, I know that. Because I'm from Philly, so I go back and forth.
There are some Wi-Fi issues going on with just one machine right now, but does everybody have their group? Raise your hand if you do not have your group. Okay, good. We're gonna start game, and I'm just gonna start game anyway. Matt, you're in twice, but that's okay. Here's what the teacher screen looks like. You should have the questions coming up, and good luck on science. Remember, this is only 7th grade science, so we should be okay. If you are not playing and you want to sit with a group so you can see what it's like, go ahead and hang out with a group so you can see the teacher version. I can see who's in the lead right now. And the camels are ahead. Oxen are moving in. Oh, the cheetahs. Cheetahs are ahead now. Now, obviously, your class won't have this many groups, so you'll be able to see them all. but you guys in the audience can see how it goes back to 0. That means they missed a question. So this is all about mastery, not speed.
Lost my Wi-Fi.
Oxen are getting in there. Peacocks and oxen are tying the lead. No pressure.
I'm just guessing.
Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is not my friend today. That's why you do everything on PowerPoint, just in case. Oxen seems to be doing pretty well. What group are you guys? Oh, and you guys were doing so well. It has you still in here, so you're not in there though.
There's a rejoin button underneath.
Okay, if you guys all want to head back, I know it looks like the pandas and the peacocks are tied, but we're having some connectivity issues for some of you, so you can get back in, but it's going to take you back to the beginning, you know what I mean? So anyway, if you guys all want to head back to your screen, I'm going to talk about this tool a little bit, or not back to your screen, what am I saying? Back to your seat. I'm going to talk about this tool for a little bit. As you can see, it is really engaging and fun if you got to play. If you didn't get to play, you did see what you do. So the first thing, you had to work together, right? I mean, you had no choice but to work together. It's more about accuracy and speed, because if you got one wrong, you got sent back. So if you want your students to master something and not just be quick, because let's face it, it doesn't matter if they're quick, it matters if they understand the content. That's the important part, the content before the technology, right? And so if they're understanding that content, that's a great thing. You can take your study sets, and remember, all you have to do is hit that live button and it creates this game. Hopefully your school doesn't have as many tech issues as this room has at the moment, but it's a good learning experience that happens. You do get your code, as you saw, and then the students are assigned to teams, and you see your screen, but you need to be near everyone else's or you won't know what answers they have. This is what the teacher screen looks like, which I did show you. And at the end, which we didn't get to the end because a lot of groups had some connectivity issues, but at the end you can go through and you can actually see how each team did, what skills need to be repeated, and so you get a complete analysis of what's going on, and all that is free. What I love about this is there's collaboration with gamification. Do plan time for group finding, because as you can see, you need it. And you need a minimum of 4 people to play. So even if you're in a small group, I mean, we've done this at our house to review for stuff because our kids just think it's a lot of fun. But you need 4 people in order to create the game. Bamboozle is next. And you can play and even create games at Bamboozle. Registration is not required to play at all. Same with Quizlet, you don't need to register to play. But you do need to register if you want to create the games. You can use this tool to create a review game in any subject area, or you can have students create their own games. There's also a study mode, as you can see, if you want to practice rather than do the actual quiz/test. And this one has a game board look to it for Bamboozle. This is a really cool one to try out. It's really easy to set up. The instructions take you through step by step. You can choose how many teams you want, if you want to play classic or quiz. And it could really be useful in any grade level if it's a teacher-led activity. If it's student-led, of course, they'll need to be able to have basic reading skills. So Plickers is arguably a DAT. It's an awesome tool if students because students don't need devices. It's not one of my favorites, but you know, if you're in a classroom with only one device, it is an option. They're the paper cards. You probably have seen them. You flip around, so there's like a little A, B, C, and D, and you turn it to where you want it to be. And they are free QR codes printable on clickers, and it's a great alternative if you do not have clickers or if you don't have devices for each student. I have done this before, presented this recently in a more in-depth workshop about the top 10 tech tools to use in the classroom for games and formative assessment. And one thing, we talked about some problems with this one. I've always laminated mine because I have not had any problems with glare. I can tell you in this room, if you're sitting over here, I may have some problems with glaring. So if you are laminating your cards, just be cognizant of the windows in your room because you could end up having glare. Because what happens if you're not familiar with it is you take your phone then and you scan all the cards that are up in the room. And with 60 people, that'd be really challenging. But hopefully your class doesn't have 60 people in it, or we need to talk about your class numbers going on. But you go scroll through and you can see immediately who needs help, who doesn't with the red and the green. So you get immediate feedback, and the students don't see that. So they don't know if they're, oh no, what happened. But the best way to experience it is to try it yourself. So if you've never tried it, give it a try. Some other tips to consider: you may want to use larger font with the younger students because seeing that little A can be difficult. So you could even take, highlighter and use different colors. So if you want the red side, the green side, so they know which color coordinates with different letters or size. Lamination, again, is a good option. And another thing that a librarian had shared that she had trouble with was crumpled up papers. And so the papers would be just a little bit crumpled and they wouldn't be readable anymore by the QR code. So that's why we suggest laminating them. You could use them for pre-assessment, exit tickets, formative assessments, assessments in general, and so on. The next two are very similar, and you probably have heard of them: Quizzes and Kahoot. Most people have heard of those two, right? I'm a Quizzes person, but I love Kahoot too. There's great with both of them. I'm just amazed at how much they've evolved since I first started sharing these tools. You can see millions of teachers are using this. You can create your own, or you can edit one that's already there. The students go at their own pace. I like this one because students can see the actual choices on their screen at all times, unlike Kahoot, which does that in the homework mode, but not in every mode. It is very self-paced, there's no account needed, and it is available. It's device agnostic, but so is Kahoot. The Kahoot, the one thing you should be aware of Kahoot, they do changes often also, just like Quizzes, and they do upgrades. They did the jumble about a year ago where you can put things in order now. So if you want to put the presidents in order or whatever it may be, or the steps of Constitution or war, whatever it may be, you can click and drag. And so that's an interesting option. Another thing that they have is the pictures. If you haven't seen the removable picture tiles, you can click and remove things. This is great for a geography class, for example, if you're doing continents, trying to figure out which continent it is, moving away one piece at a time, while you're mastering. If you're looking for images, that's something that you can put behind those. And those are free options, but keep watching because they do add free a lot. And so this one, is great for younger students because it's a class-led. It can be more class-led and read to them. And the games, polls, surveys, jumble, and other options to play. So Goose Chase, I saw a session on this week. I love Goose Chase. If we had more time, we would do Goose Chase, but given the tech problems, I'm glad I didn't do a whole session on Goose Chase. That would be a challenge. It's a fun way to gamify any unit of study, colonial times, anything that can be researched. I heard someone yesterday talk about using it for the Dewey Decimal System. Wow, that would make that a little more fun to engage in. You could send your staff on a tour of standards during faculty meetings or whatever it may be. And for Goose Chase, if you haven't used it, it's you need a device, a phone or an iPad or something that can take pictures, because you have choices of photos, videos, text, or GPS to include on your hunt. You send people off on a hunt, there's many ready to go, and the scavenger hunts are really easy. I made one in about 5 minutes the first time, and it took me a little while to, okay, now how do I find out what happens? It's really easy. As soon as they load the app on that device, it gets sent to you. So you don't really have to do anything. The information gets sent. If you want to learn more about it, we have a full webinar on our resources page. And you can also, it's on our resource page, it's about an hour long, and it shows you exactly step by step how to create that Goose Chase. But just remember, you can edit or you can do the create your own. Yes?
How much is it now?
Free.
For more than...
Everything's free. Bamboozle, you have 5 free per email. Yeah, the edu, yeah, the link that you have in your resource page takes you, the resource page or the link on the resource page?
The resource page, but it's my...
I'll show it at the end again. Make sure you take a picture of it so when you have Wi-Fi outside of the EdTech conference, you can get it. Okay. Sorry, just being honest. You can use to create learning games on any device. This is device agnostic. You can choose from sequencing, multiple choice, fill in the blank. You can add different forms of feedback to guide students in a scaffold when they make incorrect choices. You can share the code with students to access the learning games. And as students advance through the games, they earn award badges. And there's also a teacher dashboard to review and monitor student achievement. Students' accounts are free, and they say always will be free, but you know, sometimes things change. So I hope that's true. Here's what is included in the free, which you can look at on your own, but you can see most of what you're going to need is included on the free. Even the badges and monitoring student achievements free, unlimited numbers of students. So lots here free. There's really no point in buying the premium unless you really need it for some reason. Just remember to check what is free before you begin. Moving on. Sketch Nation. See this? Due to lack of funds, Sketch Nation will be closing. This happens a lot more than I'd like to admit. But, so just remember to check your sites ahead of time because I plan to share this and I'm not going to because this is your learning moment that things go away. So, moving on, GimKit. How many of you have played GimKit? Okay, well, we are going to have a very, very quick game of GimKit today. I had wanted to actually do GimKit as a group and alone because it's a very different way to do a group game, which I guess well, raise your hand. Who wants to play alone? You don't need to move at all. Who wants to play in a group? Okay, well, we'll stick to the alone. On the alone, first of all, either way, you can set it either as a time goal or as a race goal. I have it set to 2 minutes. You get starting cash. So this is money. With GimKit, you can buy things. Like you can freeze your opponent. You can shake their screen. You can do all this stuff so that it helps you win, all right? Answer checks. It allows players to view correct answers. There's music. There's clapping. Can players join in late if your Wi-Fi doesn't work? Yes, you can with GimKit. Power-ups, themes, and then clean power-ups only. This means if your children are going to have their feelings hurt, if someone freezes their screen, you can take that away. But you know what? You guys are going to handle it. So we have 2 minutes, and I'm going to do the classic, and we are only playing for 2 minutes. So go ahead and log in, and it's going to pull it up because the Wi-Fi is going to work for me, and I really want it to work. So I'm going to hope that it works, and so I'm going to give it a second here. 10, and while it's pulling up, I might as well tell you about it. So GimKit, about 3 years ago, was created by a high school student. Did you guys know that? Okay, so it's a really cool story. He graduated last year. He's a freshman in college now. He lives, I think, either in Seattle. Oh, is it Oregon or Washington? I think it's Oregon. He lives there, and he runs this company full-time. He has 2 employees, and this is all they do. He created this game because he didn't like Kahoot. He got tired of his teachers just using Kahoot. And he was like, I need more. And so he gamified it even more, added these money options and things like that, and made it, kind of gave it an older feel. And it has just taken off. And it's an awesome tool. I know not everyone's going to have time to join because we're going to go ahead and start the game in 10 seconds. So if you're not logged in, I apologize. I know Wi-Fi is not working, but we're down to less than 10 minutes. And I have more to share, and I want us to have time to play. So I'm going to hit start game. And you can see what I see. This is how much money collaboratively everyone has. You have the questions on your screen. If you're not playing, you may want to look at someone's screen who is playing because the game has started. It has a 2-minute limit. All right. And if it's not working, you can see who's in the top and who freezes people because it will show you at the bottom, frozen by this person. And whenever you do something not so nice. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do to win, right? So there you go. And you can upgrade, multiplier, there you go. There's a streak bonus. Corinne's in the lead now. And it goes on and on. It's a really neat program. It's really easy to set up because you can import your Quizlets that I showed you earlier right into here. So it's so simple. There's a link to import. You click it, import your Quizlet, and your GimKit's ready to go. That's it. So it makes it a lot easier. Don't forget to buy some stuff to hurt people because that's fun. And sorry if some of you got disconnected, I know, but at least here you can see what the teacher screen looks like, so you can see. At the end of this, you can actually, in the group mode or the individual mode, you can see which problems students had issues with, what may need to be retaught. There's a complete assessment at the end for you to see of how your class performed. So you know what you need to do to get them to understand the content. This is a great way to review before a test or do formative assessment. And, oh, someone got iced. Woo! Sarah, Mando's icing people. That means you're frozen for a while. Can't do anything. But Jess is in the lead again. Way to go, Jess. You're back up there. And we only have 3 seconds left. Woo! Done. All right, so then you can see how everyone placed here. Yay, Jess. And you can click to view the report. And I know I don't have time to show you everything, but you can click on these links to view what they got correct, what they didn't get correct, and the percentage. This gives you a good, sorry for the embarrassment right now, but I'm just showing you what you can do. You can see a student overview, but you can also see a general overview of how your students are doing. They have an 87% accuracy, not so bad. I mean, you guys, this was new stuff for you, so that's not so bad. But that is GimKit, and I highly suggest trying it out. Again, if you didn't hear me say it because you were too engrossed in the game, you can import your Quizlets into here to use, and the free version is great. It has live games, assignments, classes, and no advertisements. It was created by a high school student, and there's a help center. If you want to learn more about it, go to the help center. They have lots of stuff there ready to go, but it is super easy to use. I actually find it easier than than Kahoot and Quizzes. So if you have anything to add to the Padlet about that, please do. And this moves on to our rare finds. If we don't get through all these in the next minute or two, they're all on our resource page, so I'm going to kind of go rapid fire speed because I wanted you guys to have an opportunity to try some of these. This is one of my favorite tools, super easy to use. It's called OHI. The app has 12 grid options. The online version, web version, only has 10. It gets a little tricky as you go, but basically you have to have an equal number of blue and red in each aisle. So in each row and going up and down. It's my insomnia game, if I'm perfectly honest, or when they tell you to power down the laptops on the airplane, I get this out and I'm playing. It's great for students with limited reading ability because anyone can do it. It's great to use with early finishers. Learn to Code with El Chavo is a great tool to use for teaching basic coding skills. It's available in English and Spanish. It's more for grades K to 6, but it could be used in 7 and 8 also if they're just learning coding. There's 60 levels that each give you a clue and hints. It's a great way to combine coding with gamification. Tinker has been around for a while, but now there's a Tinker Junior. It's worth checking out. The app is Tinker Junior, not Tinker. There's ages 5 to 7 does voice instruction, 7 to 8 does the drag and drop coding, ages 13 and up is real world coding. Most of this is free. Just remember to check out the app because it is a little bit different. Another one that's a little different is Answerables. It's a little complex, so I suggest looking at our web's resource page that has a link of the video explaining it. It's game-based virtual learning in a learning management system. And users create pods to enroll your students, create events, assignments, and provide feedback. There's an explanatory video to learn more about the features available at this tool. And again, you want to look at that introduction page because this one's a little bit higher level, a little more difficult, but if you're looking for a learning management system that's really motivating for students, it's a great one. TinyTap is another one that does interactive games, books, and presentations. You can go to the activities link to access resources already created by teachers. You can search by age, language category. You can do drag and drop activities, videos, quizzes, and more, all within the same activities. One thing that you should note is most games are free unless they're created by a professional author. I have not seen any of those, so I'm not sure what they mean by that, but it's on there, so I wanted to share it. The free version is public, so comments are permitted. And then finally, our gamified classroom. We have just 3 things here that I'm just going to go through real quick. There's Class Dojo, which most of you are familiar with. It's a great way to gamify your classroom. I find it staggering that 95% of schools are using Class Dojo now. That's just amazing to me. My favorite part, though, is for reinforcement. The one thing I wanted to point out here, in addition to all these other features, is the random student selector. I use this myself maybe once an hour or once a day, whatever is practical for you, to pick on the student like, say, Brady, who you never really find doing good or bad. They're just kind of there. And that way you can kind of pick, you know, someone randomly, so you're not picking the same people over and over again because there Billy is again poking at Susie. Billy, stop poking at Susie. And so instead of looking at that, you're looking at all students. I do have to mention this one and the next one do fall under FERPA laws, so make sure that you are aware of your the FERPA laws, and also get parental permission. That one in classroom management, class 1, 2, 3. That's another one of my favorites that has lots of tools here. Timers, seating charts, bell ringers, all sorts of things to do. It also offers reports just like Class Dojo. Finally, my last one is Symbaloo, and this is Symbaloo Learning Pass. We actually have a full webinar on our resource page to learn more about it. Symbaloo was like the grids. Have you guys seen Symbaloo? It's been around a long time. But this one allows you to create pathways or game boards for students to use that you can differentiate based on their interests. And some tips for game-based learning, just in 30 seconds here. We create student experts so that they can help the class, give them lanyards, take these home and reuse them for your student experts. Solo cup management, if you're using tech tools and the students are having trouble, have different cups ready so they can put up a red cup if they need you now, yellow or whatever color may be. You know, when you have a minute, come on by. Blue, I'm doing okay. So that's a non-verbal, non-interruptive you way to do this. Give them some sandbox time to play, just like with adults. The game-based learning tech toolbox, I've done several different types of presentations for ISTE about this, and it's basically introducing a new tool each year. So in kindergarten, they may learn to code with El Chavo, and in first grade, it may be quizzes, whatever it may be, and each year they master a new tool. So by 6th grade, they have 5th grade, they have 6 tools. Make sure that you share your web tools, and if you haven't added anything on the Padlet, do that now, because I'm gonna do the t-shirts next. One thing I wanted to tell you, there is a link to Dream Tools at the end of our resource page. I'm not sharing that because that's not what the session is about. Dream Tools are our device agnostic tools. If you want the mother load of all, I think 200 it is, tools that you can use in any BYOT classroom. Some of them are not game-based learning, so I'm saying that right now. There's all different types of tools. Go ahead and check those out. If you have any questions, I have 2 slides for that. Here's our resource page that I'll put back up in a sec. But if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's Mrs. M. Henning. The company's SFL OK to Ask. Thank you so much for coming, and I'm going to do t-shirts now. And so let me do those quickly, and because I'm afraid there's probably another presenter coming, and so I don't want to hold them up. And so let's see, did everyone get in here? We need a number. I'm going to pick number 3. Okay, so Lisa Paul, Mrs. Staggerwalt, are you still here? Okay, you got a t-shirt. Come on down. Okay, next up we have Anonymous. Okay, hi, I'm Kyle, a first-year instructional tech coach. Are you here?
Yes, I am.
Kyle, all right. Come to you.
Thank you.
Woo! Good job.
I'm Mrs. Staggerwalt.
Here you go. Thank you. Okay. Keeping this simple. Okay, number 3 after Kyle is 1, 2. Aloha. Honolulu, Hawaii. I'm coming to your home soon. Where are you? Honolulu, Hawaii? You and I need to talk. I'm going to the North Shore in a couple months.
Are you coming?
I am, for real. Yes, our family. We've been saving for many years. Okay. Anyway, back to the topic. Sorry, got a little off base. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Hi, I'm April. I grew up in Mechanicsburg. I'm from Mechanicsburg, April. April? Oh, Okay, and then the last one, oh my goodness, I have 6. I was wrong. So we have April, and then 1, 2, 3, Justine, and then 1, 2, last one is Jess. New Cumberland Middle School. My kids are at Redland, so come on down.
Okay. I'm Cumberland Valley girl, but my girls are at Redland. We're a blended family. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. And
I'll put up the resource page for you again if you need it. There you go. Hello. Are you the next presenter? Oh, okay. Sorry. Sure. Yes. All of you can bring all that whole section. Bring your own. Yeah. All of that. Got it. Sure. We do. We do. Oh, yeah. I think my car. Yeah. I may be allowed to call my own. Okay. All right. I'm going to disconnect so the next presenter can get started because I'm 5 minutes late. I am so sorry. There we go. Well, now I hear you. Thank you all for coming. Have a great final session. Thanks.
Thank you.
There you go, ladies. Thank you. Sorry, we had some tech issues that set us back quite a bit. But, well, it's kind of, that's what I was telling the audience. I've started to do all PowerPoints because of it. For my presentations because they never work. Well, I always have a it's a backup, so I have other stuff that's more, innovative to use. But usually I end up on the PowerPoint. So what are you guys doing about? Game-based? Okay. You're on my list.